commentators would speak of this Sunday's scriptures as the cost of discipleship. But I'd like to propose a different perspective, one that we talk about a lot, one that kind of meets the core understanding of Christianity. At the very heart of everything we believe, God is love. And Jesus, his mission, his only mission, is an outpouring, an expression of God's love for us that becomes salvation. And that love is shown in his preaching, it's shown in his messianic works, it's shown in his death and resurrection, especially. And in that merciful love, we find salvation. But we're also invited into a mission of love. And to hear today's gospel, losing our lives in order to find it, taking up our cross and following Jesus, loving God and this mission more than even our closest connections and ties, that we would see this in light of that mission of love to which we're invited. So, by way of a little bit more than analogy, if a young mother, maybe a young family, receives a child into their lives, they probably will find that they've lost their lives, right? Because now this child needs to be changed and fed every couple of hours. Because now this child will require constant care and attention. And just when we think things are starting to get a little bit easier, we'll find ourselves worrying because they didn't come home when they said they would, because there's all kinds of dangers to which they're exposed that they're not ready for, that we haven't been able to prepare them for. Like our whole lives will be transformed, taken. But do you want to send him back? Or is this love, right? Even the analogy, and more than an analogy, a sacrament, that makes everything we're talking about concrete and real, of marriage, that in this marriage sacrament, all of a sudden I've given my life to somebody else in very concrete and practical ways. This isn't just some sort of philosophical giving up of my life, of my flesh, of my being, of my body. No, like things that I used to be able to have and do, I've chosen not to, and I've committed myself not to. And things that I used to be able to just decide on my own, now I share a decision with somebody else who almost always disagrees with me. And my own walking through life is now taken away from me in this relationship with someone else. I've given my life, I've given myself to someone else who's given themselves to me. And do you want to send him back? Do you want to trade her in? Or is this love? What Jesus is inviting the disciples is he's sending them out on mission. But he's inviting them into this love, this mission of love. And to be invited into love is very different than to be given a recruiting speech with lots of costs. If what Jesus is saying was the recruiting pitch for the US Army, it would have no soldiers, right? But he's inviting us into love, into God's love, and inviting us to share that love with our brothers and sisters, as he would say, with the least, with the little ones. And for us to be able to find in our hearts the answer to that question, do you want to love? and to see discipleship not as a cost, but as an invitation, not as a set of demands, but as a relationship of love. And to find ourselves today in these scriptures very demanding, but not so much about the cost, but about the promise, the offer, the invitation into God's love.